First and foremost, all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wawakakwadash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth to the rest of the church who believe as well, you men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. The Wada, which means thank you to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the world of Israel and the world of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. So I'm going to jump into it with the book of Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh is risen upon thee. So the light of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has risen upon us who have this understanding, those of us who believe. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So we're surrounded by people of darkness, people who are blinded to this light, people who can't comprehend what we're telling them because they don't have the understanding. They're not enlightened in righteousness. They're enlightened in being deceived. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. So there is a darkness covering the earth. There is a spiritual darkness covering the minds of people, and gross darkness to people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So if you have this understanding, if you have this light, that's because the light of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has shined upon you and not upon them. The Lord isn't dealing with everybody. The Lord is exclusive. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So most people have been deceived and remain being deceived. And while that's happening, they're also deceiving others. We're battling against spiritual demons in high places, spirits that work on the left-hand side, spirits of darkness. And these spirits of darkness are blinding the minds of people. That's why no matter how much brothers will bring out lessons or do their best to break it down as simple as possible, many people just don't see it because there's no light in them. But for those of you who see it, you're special, and the Heavenly Father, through his only begotten Son, they've opened you up to this ministry. This isn't by mistake. Okay? To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So most people do not have this light within them. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 4. But ye brethren are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. The world is in darkness, but we're not in darkness. Okay? The Heavenly Father has shined his light upon us, and he's opened up our minds to be able to be illuminated by this word. Everyone else, they're in darkness. Everyone else, they have a veil around their spiritual eyes. They don't have the eyes to see. Ye are all children of light and children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. So we're not of night, we're not of darkness. We're not lost like others. We have the light. And one thing about light, it guides you. You're able to see. You're not stumbling like others. Many people are falling, they're stumbling. This word becomes a stumbling block unto them. If you're walking in darkness, it's going to be easy for you to be tripped up. But if you have the light to see, you'll be able to avoid traps, avoid stumbling blocks. Okay? But you have to be opened up to this. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. So we should be awake. We should be able to comprehend what's going on. We should know the season that we are in. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. So we're not supposed to be sleeping as others are. We're supposed to be awake. We're supposed to be spiritually in tuned. Okay? And it says to be sober. And this isn't speaking of sober as in you can't have a drink of wine. Okay? Although you should drink responsibly. You know, you shouldn't be some drunk. But when you go into this word sober in Greek 35:25, the word here is nepho. To be sober, to be calm and collected in spirit. So we have to be calm and collected in the spirit. That's what being sober-minded means. Because the spiritual demon Satan wants to throw us off. Wants to have us crash out. Okay? To be temperate, dispassionate, circumspect. And to be circumspect, that means you got to look around. Like circumference. Or specs. When you look at specs, you think of glasses. Glasses help you see. Okay? Circumference, going into circle, looking around. So we have to be circumspect. We have to look around. All right? We have to be aware. We have to be in tune. And not be as others who are in darkness. All right? Now let's go to the book of Isaiah. Chapter 29 and verse 18. And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. And we've been given the eyes to see out of darkness because we live in a very dark time. People are lost. People are not able to understand this light. As bright as this light is, many are not able to see it. Okay? If you were to shine a super bright light upon Stevie Wonder, he's not going to see it because he's physically blind. Well, spiritually, this word is likened unto a light. And people are spiritually blind to being able to see it. Okay, as obvious as it would be to someone who has the eyes to see it. And in that day shall the deaf hear. We were once deaf. The words of the book and the eyes of the blind shall see. We were once spiritually blind. We were once in darkness like the majority of our people and this world. And out of darkness. So we've been given the gift to see out of darkness. Most, and I mean most of the people that you see in your everyday life, they're going to remain in darkness. They'll never have the opportunity to have this light shine within them. Okay? And yes, although we used to be in darkness, we're not in darkness now. We have the light to see and we have the light to understand. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 12. And I want to say it's in verse, let me try 23 maybe. Jump down. Okay, this is John chapter 12 and verse 35. Then Yahushua said unto them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while you have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. But see, we know where we're going. And Yahushua is that light. Yahushua washed the feet of his disciples. So that's likened unto us having a clean foundation. And of course, Yahushua is showing a sign of humility, being a servant. Although he's the head of us, he was being a servant because the more humble you are, the more greater you are. Okay. But he washed the feet of his disciples, him being the light. That's also likened unto him being a light unto our feet. If you were in a very, very dark forest and you had shoes that were lit up in the dark, they had a bright glow or a bright aura to them, you'd be able to see where you're walking. Okay? Well, Yahweh Shai is that light. This word is that light. Yahweh Shai being the word embodied. Okay? The volume of the book is written of him. Okay? Then Yahweh Shai said unto them, yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. But we know where we're going. And we're walking down the path of the righteous so that we could receive our reward, which is a very short distance from now. We just have to keep enduring some time longer. Okay? But eventually the Lord is going to give us everything that our hearts desire. He's going to come, give us everlasting life, give us new bodies. Everything's going to be refreshed. Everything's going to be new. Sickness is going to be a thing of the past for us. Sadness is going to be a thing of the past. Death. Okay? While ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light. These things spake Yahweh Shai, and departed, and did hide himself from them. Okay? So Yahweh Shai ultimately is that light. And we have to walk in Yahweh Shai, because doing so, we're walking in the light. And you need the light to understand. Okay? Let's go to Luke chapter 10 and verse 23. And he turned him unto his disciples and said privately, blessed are the eyes which see the things that ye see. Because in order to have the spiritual eyesight, you have to be illuminated. You have to be a child of light, not a child of darkness, because in the dark you can't see. Okay? For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. And how much more for us today? More has been opened unto us in this time than going back 2,000 years ago when Yahweh Shai walked the earth. More is revealed unto us now than what we knew back then. Now, the only takeaway, Yahweh Shai isn't down here in the flesh, and we also haven't seen his miracles in this current life. Okay, but we believe, those of us who have faith. But nevertheless, we're seeing things that the prophets of old wanted to see. So those same men would come back in a later life, and they would see the things they desired to see in a life beforehand. Okay? This is that generation that's going to see the end of all things. That's why all the prophets are back on the streets teaching, and I say that through faith. It's not a coincidence that the Lord has all these men all throughout Babylon and other parts of the earth teaching this gospel. Okay? Although many don't understand, many can't comprehend what's going on because their understanding has been darkened. Okay? Ephesians chapter 4 and 17. This I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind, having the understanding darkened. So we have the understanding. We have the light. But if your understanding is darkened, you don't have the understanding. You don't see it. Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them because of the blindness of their heart. So if you don't have this understanding, typically the Heavenly Father's not even dealing with you. You're actually alienated from him if you don't have the understanding as an Israelite. Okay? Yeah, it's good that you're an Israelite, but you must have the understanding. But many don't have it because the Lord is a stumbling block unto them. The Lord is trapping up a lot of Israelites. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 7. Unto you, therefore, which believe, he is precious. But unto them which be disobedient, the stone, being Yahushua, which the builders disallowed, the same is made the head of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, and a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word. And Yahushua is the word, okay? Being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. So Yahushua is a stumbling block to our people who don't believe, because they're in darkness. They're not able to see. That's why they're getting tripped up by the word. That's why these words don't really move them. They're not drawn to make a change in their life. Okay? Because they hate this light. They hate Yahushua. They hate him who was sent by Yahweh. Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Okay? And seeing that their understanding is darkened, they read these words, they don't interpret it right. They breaking down the scriptures all wrong because they don't have the light to read these dark sayings. Proverbs chapter 1 and 6, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. So a lot of the words found within the Holy Bible are dark sayings. And in order to see a dark saying, you need the light. You need the light to understand. And many, they don't have that light. That's why this word is likened unto a stumbling block unto them. And Yahushua is the word. Yahushua is a stumbling block to the 2/3. Okay? Romans chapter 9 and verse 31. But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, hath not attained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law. For they stumbled at the stumbling stone, and that stumbling stone is Yahushua, who is the light. As it is written, behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone, and rock of offense, and whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. So a lot of people are ashamed of this word. They're ashamed of Yahushua. They get offended at him. But they're in darkness. This isn't for them. But we've been given the understanding. We have the light to see. Okay? And there are angels blocking the majority of Israelites from ever coming into this truth. Okay? You have left-hand angels who have been sent from the heavens to blind our people. Isaiah chapter 6 and 8. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And whom will go for us? Then said I, here I am, send me. And this is an angel speaking. And said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. See ye indeed, but perceive not. And look, our people hear us teaching this word. Our people see us teaching this word, and they can't perceive it because they're being blocked by spirits, man. There are angels on the left-hand side of the Lord who are deceiving the minds of our people, okay? Make the heart of this people fat and make their ears heavy and shut their eyes. So the Heavenly Father is actually sending angels down here, okay, to specifically keep our people blinded who aren't meant to be opened up to this. Lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. So if our people were to understand, they would have to be converted and healed. They would have to be saved. But the Heavenly Father doesn't want to save everybody because he does not like everybody. He has a controversy with most people. He's not trying to settle that beef with giving people passes, only the elect. Okay? So the elect, he has given the understanding. That way they could be converted and healed and be saved because that's his purpose. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. So The 2/3 of our people here in America, all you wicked Israelites all throughout the earth who don't understand, you're going to be like that until the end of Esau's kingdom. If you're not the elect, you're just not the elect. So let's close it in Romans. Romans chapter 11 and verse 5. Even so then at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. Just like going all the way back to the days of Elijah. Okay? Elijah felt like he was alone, but he was not indeed alone. There were other believers just dispersed out. And if by grace, then is it no more of works? Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then it is no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. So the elect, the remnant, are going to receive salvation because of the Lord's grace upon them, not because of their works, because then they could boast and say it's because of themselves. Okay? What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Why are the elect going to obtain whatever this is speaking of? What is it speaking of? This is speaking of the truth. The elect are going to obtain this truth because they're illuminated. They have the light. The rest were blinded because they're in darkness. Okay, even if you could see with your physical eye, if you were to sit in a totally dark room, you're still likened unto a blind man because you can't see. And our people can't see this light. According as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber because they're people of the night. What do people do at night? They go to bed. They go to sleep. Okay? Eyes that they should not see and ears that they should not hear unto this day. And David saith, let their table be made a snare. What's that table? The Holy Bible. Okay, now back in the days, the words of the Lord were written on stone tablets. Okay, today you can find this word in digital tablets. A phone, for an instance. I'm reading the word to you on a table right now. Okay, and David saith, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Let their eyes be darkened that they may not see, and bow down their back always. So there's a remnant that are going to wake up and receive this marvelous light. But the majority of Israelites, they've been cursed. They're not going to receive this because they're not able to. The Lord does not want them to. Even if they make an attempt, they're going to keep getting their shot swatted. The Heavenly Father is going to keep blocking their shot because if He don't want them, there's nothing that they can do. Okay? And if you are of His elect, there's nothing that you can do. Everything is based off the Lord's will. All right? But be grateful, as we should be, that we have this marvelous light. And I pray that this lesson that was simple and edifying, all praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wa Rakakwada, Shalom.